as you were talking, I wanted to share this. I haven't even told you this. We have someone who's in our office transformation quick start program who I spoke with 2 years ago. And she's actually interested in becoming a specialist. She wants to be a certified productive environment specialist and help other people organize their time, space, and information. So we spoke 2 years ago, and at that point, she decided to start with the office transformation of her own. She wanted to get her own office transformed. Well, she put it off, didn't really take a whole lot of action. She logged in, did a few things. She would show up on our webinar. She's probably watching me talk about her right now. She would show up on some of our calls, and but she didn't take action. And guess what? I got a phone call from her, or a message from her, a week or so ago, and she said, we need to talk. So we jumped on a Zoom call together, and she said, I already was diagnosed with COVID-19, and I've recovered from it. Thank God she did. And she said, but that reminded me of, the commitment and what I know my passion is and what I know I want to do. And I've just been playing around for 2 years. She said, I just didn't take it seriously until I was faced with something really serious. And I realized, how much more of my life am I going to put off? She was putting clutter is postponed decisions, right? Exactly. She was putting off a decision to do something that she really wanted to do. So we talked through it. And this past weekend, she's spending on her own office. So she is going through the course. She is implementing and setting up her own systems, and she's in love with it. She's loving the systems and is so excited to share it with other people. So that's a really good example of really, getting to what really matters. What really matters.
And, we, not too long ago, a few months ago, we talked to someone who had used us to put a finding system in, and she was a professor, had used us for 23 years. And she was retiring and wanted to pass off some of her files to her daughter. And so we went in, spent an hour with her, showed her exactly how to do it. It just took a short period of time in order to do that. So helping people identify what they really need to keep and put a system in place. And the older you get, the harder it is to do it. So an example I use often is that my husband and I have been married 33 years, and he's not organizing, so I don't need to be, because that's why I married you. And through our years, he's always given me things to file. And it used to be, I could remember, he'd say, oh, I gave you such and such to file. And I'd say, oh yeah, I know exactly where it is. And I would go get it. Well, now he'll say to me, I gave you such and such to file, and I will have no recollection. I won't remember anything about it. I'll say, but if you did, I know where it is. And I'll walk into my finding system, and sure enough, there it is. And in that, it's in paper form. Sometimes I've scanned it into digital, and I can find it. There's a system for digital as well, so I can look one place or the other. But it really does make a difference if you make it a habit, because then you don't have to think about it, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And I was just going to say too, Barbara, you and I have talked about this before too, when people misquote you and they say, clutter is just postponed decisions. Clutter is simply postponed decisions. And I was thinking about it today, with our topic being when tidying up is not enough. It's like, imagine if anybody's watching this and you're sitting in your office or in your home, most of you still home maybe, and you're looking around and you may be feeling overwhelmed. You may be feeling anxious and overwhelmed with stuff, lots of stuff. And just imagine how that would feel if somebody said, well, just tidy up. Just clean it up. Just, make some decisions. Clutter is just postponed decisions. I mean, that would make me feel really, really bad about myself. Like, why can't I get my act together? Yeah, right. Why can't I just do this? Anybody can do that. Like, no, maybe you can't. And, because you're overwhelmed and you don't have a system.
Well, and that deals with that emotion. So one of the things that we help people with, people are often afraid to have somebody like us come in because they think we're going to say, you don't need that. We never say that. That is not our right to say that. Only you can decide that. So what we're asking them is, first of all, we're asking, does this help you accomplish your work or enjoy your life? And if it does, then obviously you want to keep it. So now we have to figure out where to keep it. That's where we have to come up with this, what is the place? If you say, I'm not sure, we'll say, okay, fine, we're gonna go on to something else. Because what I've learned through the years is that a lot of times people don't do what they can do because they keep thinking about what they can't. So part of getting rid of clutter is like peeling the layers of an onion off. So you want to go through your office as quickly as you can and say, does this help me accomplish my work or enjoy my life? And if you know the answer is no, get rid of it immediately. And then there'll be some energy that will happen that will, make it easier to get rid of. And that will reveal, our first step is state your vision. Sadly, there are many people, especially in this environment, people who are saying, I don't really know what my purpose is. I believe God, from the depths of my heart, I know that God created every single person and every single business for a specific purpose. I know that. I've seen it over and over, and I know it for myself. I've been doing this. I'm 73 years old. I've been doing this for over 40 years. I love it more now. People say, when are you going to retire? I'd say, why would I retire? I have lots of flexibility. I can choose to take vacations, which I do often, but I don't want to retire. Well, a lot of people don't know that. So one of the ways to figure out what that is to begin letting go of the clutter. So my first marriage ended after 14 years. I was absolutely devastated. Nobody in my family had ever been divorced. I adored my husband. We had 3 adopted children. I had just started my organizing business. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And the counselor asked me a question, which was life-changing. She said, okay, Barbara, you have a blank slate. What do you want? And my answer was, I don't have a clue. I was Mrs. Tom, and I expected to be Mrs. Tom for 5 decades. Her statement was then, let's start with what you don't want. Clutter. So when you take what you don't want and peel it off, you begin to find what you do want. So I spoke with a woman recently who's went to college, got a degree, and like so many people who've gone to college who've got a degree, they haven't had a job since then that's been really meaningful. So we had a conversation about, okay, what do you want? If you liked your work and wanted to do it, what would you do? Well, I've had this conversation many times. She wants to be an entrepreneur. And in the job she's worked in 5 different organizations. And in every one of them, she was always frustrated because things weren't well organized. And she was always the one who was sometimes she was the one who did it. And in other places, she wasn't allowed to do it. But in either case, she loved it. And so we said, she was going to go back to graduate school. I said, instead of going to graduate school, just take our consulting course, become a specialist. You can have a career and you can guide it exactly to what you want. So I love to have conversations with people about finding their purpose. Maybe consultant, but it may be something. My neighbor, it was being an artist. He's employed as an IT with a big bank. And I said, what would you like to do? He said, I want to make money with my art, but I could never do that. I said, why not? Oh, well, so we used our 5-step process. Well, guess what? He's making money with his art. He had an exhibition in a local restaurant. So we love to help people accomplish their work and enjoy their lives. And that's just a passion that we have.